our division talks to more research subjects than any other division within OHRP, because we are the ones, when somebody calls the main number and says, I was in a research study, it goes to compliance, because like more often than not, those people are calling because they've got a complaint that something has gone wrong, that something about the research was not to their liking, or that they feel like they weren't informed adequately about what happened in the research, or family members of folks who were in research. And so we get to talk to them and to really hear about some of the anguish that they go through when things don't happen the way they should. And sometimes it's not anybody's fault. Sometimes, research can have risks. And so sometimes people do get hurt, but everybody followed the regulations. Everybody acted in an ethical manner. And so sometimes, sometimes it's just a matter of reassuring people that I hear you, I feel your pain, but there isn't really anything that our office can do. But what goes along with that is there are also a lot of people out there who have serious mental illness, who believe that they are the subject of research, and they probably have schizophrenia. Although I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, so I can't really diagnose them. But, the government is controlling their thoughts, has put a chip in them, and is, surveilling them and, making them do things or making them feel things. And that's very difficult. And I have to give a lot of credit to my colleagues who have psychology or psychiatry or social work backgrounds. They have helped me and others in our division to talk to these folks and to help them find the help that they do need, and that it's not from our office, unfortunately.
As a coordinator, were you actually answering the phone?
Yeah, so OHRP is one of the few offices, I think, in the federal government where every person who works in our office, our phone number is on the website. And so anytime anybody wants to contact us, they just go down the list. And my last name begins with a B. And so I am often one of the first people that gets called. Now, actually, I do have colleagues who have A's, or, the BA instead of BO, and so they might get called before me. But and even, as I said, when the phone rings to the main number, they'll get transferred to us, even when I was a coordinator. And or let's say you've opened a case and you are still not sure about what happened and what went wrong, and so you may call the complainant, who is not always but often a subject in the research, and say, well, can you tell me a little bit more about your complaint or your allegations? And so there often is a lot. Or they'll call you. They'll see the determination letter on the website, and they'll call you to say thank you. Or they'll call you to say, wait a minute, you didn't make a finding about this allegation that I made about such and such. And so in some ways, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because oftentimes nobody's happy. And so you have to have a real thick skin. You have to have a real thick skin to be in compliance oversight, because when you make a finding, then the institution is sometimes unhappy, and when you don't make a finding, the subject is unhappy or the complainant is unhappy, and so some people are just not cut out for compliance oversight, either because they don't have a thick skin, or because they don't like being the bad guy, or they don't like the details. They don't like to get lost in sometimes tedious review.
I'm trying to think, what about you may have facilitated your thick skin so that you're a good fit for this job? So I'm imagining you're a demanding father, imagining being the youngest of 5 and having to, put up with all of that.
Absolutely. And I think also everybody has some concept of sacrifice, either because of religious upbringing or because of being in a sport that they love where they had to practice a lot, or a musician. I'm also a musician and having to, and so sometimes to do things that are important and that mean a lot to you, sometimes you have to sacrifice some things. And I think that that's part of it, that putting up with the arrow slinging is a sacrifice that I make because the job that I do and that we do is so important.